and representatives are in their chamber right behind me right now starting the debate. Kansas lawmakers continued their efforts to pass a budget plan that would close part of the $290 million shortfalls for the current and next state budgets. But what's now on the table isn't appealing to everyone.
I don't think they have the votes to pass the budget bill. I think the budget bill is bad.
Some lawmakers, though, see attractive proposals in the plan, especially because it shields K-12 education funds.
We've made a promise all the way along when we did the block grants that money would be protected, and that's exactly what we've done.
Other components of this budget bill include taking money from higher education, hitting K-State and KU the hardest, and further delaying retirement payments. It also provides an additional $17 million to the state's 2 mental hospitals. Democratic Senator Laura Kelly is on the Budget Conference Committee and believes legislators are still not addressing the major problem.
We're not dealing with the huge elephant in the room, which is the tax cuts of 2012, which have put us in this situation.
A bill to take away those cuts failed earlier this week, and Senator Kelly doesn't believe it will be revisited. Now, their goal is to get the budget bill passed with elements both parties can agree on, but that may take some convincing.
It'll be tough. I think both chambers are pretty dug in on some of their positions, and getting either one to move will be hard, but that will happen at some point. We'll have to do that.
You know, we can drag this thing out forever, but it's time to, if you get your work done, let's go home. And I think the people of the state, that's what they expect us to do.
The House also passed a bill today that would aid Kansas Highway Patrol by increasing vehicle registration fees. That would give them more money to hire additional troopers. As I had mentioned before, the House just gavelled in about a half an hour to go to start the debate here. They do have a couple other bills to go through first, but I've heard that they have waived the midnight rule, meaning that lawmakers might be here into the early morning hours trying to get this passed. That does put a lot of pressure on the Senate as it will head their way. They are currently in their chamber, just kind of on standby at this point, waiting for the bill. If they do pass it, it will go to the governor's desk. And he said yesterday that this is something that he is willing to sign. And Ralph, this would mean the end of the session if it passes through both chambers. The 2 identical bills, one from the Senate and one from the House, were introduced in a joint committee meeting this morning. They do satisfy the High Court's order to continue to fund schools equitably. The school funding plan that passed through the House Appropriations Committee yesterday made it seem like it was paving the way to a quick adjournment on Friday. But as new ideas came to light from the House, the likely schedule has now been pushed back. Legislature is still hopeful, though, that they'll get out by this weekend as a new compromise is currently being worked on. They're trying to avoid any constitutional issue in the fix. The initial plan was to cut base state aid to K-12 schools 0.5%, or roughly $13 million. The new plan eliminates any cuts to that and gains funds from the Kansas Bioscience Authority. As lawmakers look forward to a debate and vote on this new plan, some thought they were taking a step back earlier today in the Senate. They considered a resolution that would propose a change to the Kansas Constitution to keep the state from shutting down schools. The resolution did fail by 1 vote. Had it passed, though, it would have been presented to voters this fall. The Senate has requested an amendment be made to this new plan, so the revisor's office is working on that as we speak. The House is right now in recess until 5:30, and the Senate is in recess until 6:30, so by 6 o'clock they'll be in their chamber again, and we'll have the new details for you at 6, Melissa. Melissa, right after the bill passed, I spoke with Governor Brownback, who says this is a bill that he's willing to sign. Once it is signed, it will go to the state Supreme Court for a final decision, and lawmakers say they are certain that this does satisfy the ruling to equitably fund schools. It does include the $38 million to help the poor districts, and in the initial GOP plan, $13 million was going to be taken from a general state aid to fund schools. Many lawmakers said they did not support that, so an amendment was made. The substitute bill took away cuts to schools and replaced it with money from the Kansas Bioscience Authority. Other funds will come from virtual schools, extraordinary needs, a tobacco settlement, state highways, and the temporary cash assistance program for needy families. Lawmakers say it was a bipartisan effort to get this plan passed, and they're overjoyed to see schools remain open.
I think at the end, everybody came together. Even the plaintiffs' lawyers are saying, yes, we think this deals with the equalization question, and that's wonderful to get everybody on the same page and get it resolved.
This bill that we just passed couldn't be more perfect. It funds our schools, the equity issue for our schools, without taking any money out of the classrooms. which was incredibly important. We got it done pretty quickly. It was bipartisan, and I think it really sets the table now to deal with the adequacy issue.
Alan Roop, the attorney for the school district, says he believes tonight's compromise will keep the schools open. However, he also points out that it's not over just yet. The court has put off considering the question of whether schools are adequately funded until after this equity question was settled. Now, Melissa, this plan is only a one-year resolution, so when lawmakers come back next year for special session, they say they're going to buckle down and try to find a long-term solution for school funding.